Tonight, Kiev's skies erupted with explosions, painting the horizon with sudden bursts of fire and light. The city, once bustling with evening life, was thrown into chaos in a matter of moments. A major Russian airstrike shattered the city's uneasy calm, sending shockwaves through neighborhoods that had only just begun to feel safe again. Plumes of smoke now rise where families once gathered for dinner. Air raid sirens wailed relentlessly, their piercing sound a grim warning. Emergency services raced through the streets, weaving between debris, their sirens echoing the panic and confusion gripping the city. Multiple impact sites have been reported across Kiev, with civilian casualties already confirmed. The scale of destruction is still being assessed as rescue teams work through the night. Images show apartment buildings torn open, their interiors exposed to the cold night air. Cars burn in the streets, and debris is scattered across once familiar avenues, transforming daily life into a scene of devastation. First responders are pulling survivors from the rubble, their hands working tirelessly to save lives. Paramedics tend to the wounded, offering comfort and care amid the chaos, their faces etched with exhaustion and determination. Ordinary people, families, students, the elderly, have been caught in the crossfire, forced to take cover wherever they can. The fear in their eyes tells a story of lives upended in an instant. These are not military targets, but homes, schools, and workplaces, places where children learn, parents work, and communities gather. The destruction is deeply personal, touching every aspect of daily life. The psychological toll is immense. Each attack chips away at hope and resilience. Anxiety and uncertainty now shadow every conversation as people wonder what tomorrow will bring. The strike hit during the evening, when many were returning home from work or school, amplifying fear and disruption. Streets that should be filled with laughter and routine are now scenes of panic and urgency. Eyewitnesses describe blasts, shaking buildings to their foundations, windows rattling, and the uncertainty of survival haunting every moment. The sense of safety has been shattered. Hospitals are overwhelmed, struggling to care for the influx of wounded. The mayor has issued urgent pleas for residents to stay in shelters, emphasizing the ongoing danger. For Kiev's people, survival and checking on loved ones take precedence over diplomatic statements. In bomb shelters and basements, families huddle together, drawing strength from one another. The world is once again confronted with the brutal reality of this conflict and its devastating impact on innocent lives. As images of destruction and heartbreak spread, the call for peace grows ever more urgent. In the aftermath, Ukraine's government accused Moscow of a deliberate attack on civilians, calling it terrorism. Officials say Russian forces targeted civilian infrastructure to spread panic, while air defenses intercepted some missiles but not all. Kiev urges international partners for more advanced air defense systems. Moscow claims it struck only military targets and blames civilian damage on Ukrainian air defenses. Russian officials framed the attack as a response to alleged Ukrainian provocations. Both sides present starkly different narratives, leaving the world to decipher the truth. The information war is as fierce as the conflict on the ground. As Kiev reeled from the shock of fresh explosions and the city's air raid sirens echoed through the streets, a sense of uncertainty gripped the population. People scrambled for safety, their faces etched with fear and confusion as the world watched events unfold in real time. At that very moment, President Putin appeared on Russian state television, broadcasting from a remote military outpost. His presence was calculated and deliberate, designed to project strength and resolve to both domestic and international audiences. The world's attention shifted as he prepared to deliver a dramatic announcement. Putin declared that Russia had successfully completed the final test of its Burevestnik cruise missile, a nuclear-powered weapon boasting what he called unlimited range. This missile, shrouded in secrecy for years, was now being unveiled as a symbol of Russian technological prowess. The Burevestnik, also known by its NATO codename Skyfall, is engineered to evade traditional missile defenses. Its nuclear propulsion allows it to fly unpredictable routes for days or even weeks, making it nearly impossible to intercept. This capability represents a significant leap in strategic weaponry. Putin's message was unmistakable. Russia's nuclear deterrent is not only intact, but advancing with terrifying new technology. He emphasized that Russia remains at the forefront of military innovation, sending a clear signal to adversaries. The timing of this announcement was no coincidence. It was a calculated act of nuclear signaling, meant to remind the West of Russia's enduring power and technological advancements, especially as the war in Ukraine rages on. For years, Western analysts doubted the feasibility of such a weapon, citing technical and safety challenges. But now, Putin Putin claims those hurdles have been overcome, and the missile is ready for deployment. This announcement shifts the world's focus from the immediate battles on Ukraine's front lines to the broader arena of global geopolitics. The stakes have been raised, and the international community is forced to reconsider its strategies. It's a stark warning to NATO and its allies. Russia's strategic capabilities remain formidable, and any miscalculation could have dire consequences. The nuclear dimension of this conflict is now impossible to ignore. The specter of escalation looms larger than ever, casting a shadow over diplomatic efforts. The world is forced to reckon with a new era of military brinkmanship, where the balance of power is once again threatened by the specter of nuclear arms and unpredictable escalation. Putin also addressed Ukrainian soldiers, claiming those who surrender are treated humanely. He framed surrender as a safe, honorable option, contrasting it with alleged Ukrainian punishment of their own troops. This message targets Ukrainian morale, suggesting Russian forces offer survival while Kyiv sends soldiers into a meat grinder. It's psychological warfare, aiming to encourage desertion and weaken resistance. However, international organizations have documented mistreatment and torture of Ukrainian POWs in Russian custody. Putin's assurances ring hollow against this evidence. His words are part of a broader propaganda effort to control the war's narrative. The reality for many captured Ukrainians is far grimmer than the Kremlin claims. The information battle is as relentless as the fighting itself. Inside Russia, state media hails the missile test as a triumph, projecting strength and technological prowess. Putin is portrayed as a confident leader, modernizing the military while the special operation proceeds as planned. The domestic audience is the main target. These stories distract from the war's high cost and slow progress. Official reports claim steady Russian advances, but independent analysts describe a static, attritional conflict. The Kremlin's narrative is one of inevitable victory, but the reality is far more complex. Maps and interviews on Russian TV show progress, but most gains are marginal. Putin's claims are political, designed to maintain support and project power abroad. The gap between propaganda and reality continues to widen. The Burevestnik's nuclear propulsion gives it near unlimited range, allowing it to evade defenses and threaten targets worldwide. If Putin's claims are true, Russia has solved immense technical challenges, creating a new class of strategic deterrent. This weapon isn't for Ukraine's battlefields. It's designed to guarantee Russia's ability to retaliate globally. The announcement is classic nuclear signaling, a warning not to push Russia too far. Diplomatic channels with the US remain strained, and new weapons like Burevestnik fall outside current arms control treaties. Putin's move pressures the West, seeking leverage in future negotiations. The stakes are high, and the risk of escalation grows. The specter of nuclear conflict, however remote, is back in the global conversation. The world must now contend with a more unpredictable era of deterrence. The balance of power is shifting in dangerous ways. Beneath the headlines, the war in Ukraine is a slow, grinding struggle with little change in territory. The world often sees only the dramatic moments, but the reality is a relentless day-to-day battle for survival and control. Front lines stretch for over 1,000 kilometers, with cities like Bakhmut and Avdiivka turned to ruins after months of fighting. Once vibrant communities are now scarred landscapes, their streets silent except for the distant echoes of conflict. Gains are measured in meters, not kilometers, and come at enormous human cost. Every advance is paid for with exhaustion, injury, and loss, as soldiers endure harsh conditions and civilians are caught in the crossfire. For Russia, capturing a city is a domestic victory. For Ukraine, defending it is a symbol of resistance. Each side clings to these moments, using them to rally support and maintain morale amid the devastation. Both sides pour resources into battles for marginal gains, while the real story is one of attrition and stalemate. The front rarely shifts, but the toll on people and infrastructure grows heavier with each passing week. Official claims of major advances often mask the brutal reality on the ground. Behind every announcement, there are untold stories of hardship, uncertainty, and loss. The war is defined by artillery duels, drone strikes, and infantry assaults. Technology and tactics evolve, but the suffering and destruction remain constant. Reliable, independent information is more critical than ever. In a landscape clouded by misinformation, journalists risk their lives to bring the world closer to the truth. Both Moscow and Kyiv push narratives to serve their own interests. Propaganda and information warfare are as much a part of this conflict as the battles themselves. As observers, we must look beyond propaganda and seek out fact-based reporting. Only by questioning what we hear and see can we hope to understand the true nature of this war. Understanding this conflict requires patience and skepticism. The situation is fluid, and the truth is often obscured by the fog of war and competing agendas. The human suffering is immense, and the full story is still unfolding, one painful day at a time. Every family displaced, every life lost, adds another layer to this complex and ongoing tragedy.